The press, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We've now been joined by our guest, engineer Toba Owojaiye, who's a public affairs analyst, to help us analyze on some of the headlines we read out to you earlier. Do not also forget that our phone lines are now open for you to call in and join the conversation. You're welcome to the studio this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. You're looking good.
Thank you. It's always a delight to have you.
I'm always happy to be here.
All right, so let's talk about what's happening. I'm sure you cannot, in fact, it's undeniable the fact that people have been talking about the electricity tariff hike, and now Labour said it and they did it. Yesterday, they literally, covered most of the states, ensuring that they went out as they said they were going to go out to, protest against the electricity tariff hike. Now, I would like to take it as Daily Independent has actually stated it. It says, electricity tariff hike protest. Now it says power sector privatization, FG's worst policy mistake. I want to get your opinion on that, but also in relation to some of the riders that followed the story. He says insists on reversal of tariff hike, says increase unacceptable, asks federal government to reverse privatization, recover assets from investors. It says it paralyzes business activities as discos neck office nationwide. FG promises to go back to drawing board and come up with solution. I'd like to get your thoughts on the fact that they say the power sector privatization is a mistake and is the worst policy ever. Because that didn't happen now. It didn't happen with this administration. But would you also see it as the worst mistake ever? And do you also see it as a case of taking back from those you sold it to and handle it? Especially because they say government has no business in business.
Government doesn't have a business in business. That's why I'm surprised that they are calling for us to go back to government being in business and knowing that power generation is about 30% of the problems of this country. The government has not really done well. We are still struggling with getting NNPC out of the hand of government. We are struggling with truly having power out of the hand of government. We've seen it work in Abia State.
Yes.
And so far, we've not had a complaint. So far, the people, they are happy, they are paying their bills. This is the way forward. It's just that it's painfully the way forward. It's a sector that you have to heavily invest in to gradually get your money back. Let me say that again. You have to heavily invest in to gradually, painstakingly get your money back. So it's not something somebody wants to really go into, except it's a cartel dealing which you're just covering up, and then, but if you really want to deliver light, then it's very expensive and you get very, very little input from it. But it works over a long period of time. Because
you say heavily investing and gradually get back return on investment.
Yes.
So wouldn't that be something not befitting for the government to handle?
The government is laden with corruption and bureaucracy over the years. You see, the problem here is the same Nigerian problem I've mentioned here over the time. We have people who are in government to do business, to strike deals, to make profit. And this goes down to the civil service. This goes down to every agency. This goes down to every opportunity. And sometimes we even find it in our banks. We find it in our eateries. You get to a big eatery, as you're leaving the place, the person asks you anything for the boys. This is what we're saying. So all of these kind of bureaucracies and bottlenecks choke business. This is not an investment that you can get your money back 5 years. You can get your money gradually, but you can't get it back in 5 years, 10 years. So and the people who are coming into these sectors are those looking for gain in the next 4 years, which is why this power tariff hike is coming up. What we should do, push them back to where they are. But there was subsidy. You cannot have subsidy on everything. Let's let the actual bills be there. Whoever knows he can pay can run this business, be in this sector, generate his money, give us light, and can do it well should come in. We don't need small players. If somebody has this $20 billion he wants to invest, let him come and invest, secure it. But you see, there's a lot of issues. You can just put transmission lines in a community, and 4 weeks after you come, all the lines are gone. So there's a lot. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of problems in this sector. And any genuine businessman will be scared to put his money, except from a person who already is corrupt and knows that he's not really planning to do anything about really changing things. So he's looking for a way to make money from the problem. You see, but anybody who has his genuine funds, sees a business in which you put money in today, tomorrow is going down, next tomorrow is going up, the next day NLC is saying they should kick you out. These are businesses. These are things that foreign organizations are looking at us. Will we strike deals with companies and then because of a small strike, we now cut those deals? How does it look on us as a foreign to foreign powers?
So you do not side with Labour when they say the power sector privatization is FG's worst policy mistake?
I do not agree with the worst policy mistake. I have an issue with the companies they gave the deals to and the deals they signed. During Goodluck's time, they signed some irrevocable deals.
Okay.
That is something that needs to come back to the table. A country can never sign an irrevocable deal that can only be amended. That must be changed. These are part of the problems we have in Nigeria. Those kind of deals cannot pan out again. Let this thing fall within regions. Power is now independent. If I was the president of this country, I would announce on the first day, after 2 years, you will not get power from anywhere. Go and solve your power problems.
Is that not almost what he did on the first day by announcing subsidy removal on
But
fuels?
I won't do that. I will give it 2 years. You have 2 years, you will not get one light from anywhere. I don't care who you are. Go and generate your light. Light can be generated on smaller basis. We've seen it work in Aba. Light can be generated in states. But when you bring light as a national issue, it becomes a problem. If you put it in Niger, Niger can use waterfalls and other things to generate theirs. Some other people can use solar in the north. There are many options. But when you heap all of this on the federal government to solve and generate power for everybody and everybody just relaxes, then what is the incentive to work? If a state like Kano knows they can make 60 billion monthly from power they generate, and they only need an investor to bring $20 billion, they would get it. We can't sleep on these things forever. Yes, we need to rethink how it's done, but not go back. That's not it.
All right, so let's look at another angle of this power issue, tariff hike, which CSOs asked Nigerians to rise against apartheid policy in power sector. Because I think I was discussing with our guest yesterday, and I was like, I don't know why we would live in a country where some persons get to pay a different fee for power, while some persons get to pay a different fee. A situation where some persons get to use power more than some other persons. In a country where we're supposed to be unified and everything is supposed to be the same, where the government is supposed to be for the people, by the people, and of the people. So why would we wake up and say, today, you are supposed to pay a different kind of fee because you are supposed to be a different breed of Nigerians, more like the apartheid style. And CSOs are already calling for Nigerians because this is part of the reasons why Labour went and started this protest. So let's get your thoughts on this segregation among citizens.
Yeah, if you can remember 2 months ago, you brought me on this show when this ban A came up, and I told you it will not work, it will not work. Because, you see, it is unjust in itself. No person in Nigeria should get more light than another person. No person in Nigeria should pay more for light. This is a balance to it than another person. No, you see, these are the tipping scales of justice that puts us in this problem.
Absolutely.
Yes. If you are in the village, the light you get should be the same with the person in Metama. The light he's paying in Metama should be the same with the light you are paying in the village. Very simple things. Let's not complicate very simple things. Yes, I know that in Metama, most people pay for their lights, but in rural areas, there are many illegal connections. I had somebody crack a joke and said the government said they will continue to increase their tariff, and then say we will continue using illegal lights. So I'm telling you, there's a large catchment of Nigerians who are not paying for light, who have tap-ins to wires to connections.
But we heard that there'll be metering for every household, like they're currently working on that.
Till you have that, there are houses that have metering and still have a way to bypass it. So are you going to be paying a monitoring team to enter Kule houses in Kano? So I'm just saying that there are a lot of people using light without paying. That is a segment of people. So I think the government was trying to, okay, for these people using light and we can't really do much about them, we keep going to arrest them,
so
they keep escaping.
Will be the ones to start paying for
let's
them.
move that bill to richer people. Then when we move it to richer people will complain if we don't give them light. So let's give them more light so that we can get our money back. So there's a lot of back end things, but it's not looking good on the front end.
You know why I'm surprised at this? Because I keep wondering, people work hard to make their money. So would it now be a crime that you can afford your lifestyle, so therefore you have to pay more bills in a country where you even struggle to even make your money?
You will still have to make sure that you still know that whatever you make the rich pay, the rich will still make the poor pay.
But what's the solution that you see? What is the suggestive solution that you could even suggest, for instance, the federal government were to be watching us right now? What would you suggest that can be done, you know, to mitigate some of these things? So it doesn't look like some persons are using more, some persons are paying more, some persons are this, some persons are that, in a country where we're supposed to all just be the same.
The president should declare that in 2 years' time, no state will be given power for free. They should go and solve their power problems. Simple and short. See, immediately, okay, I got here by a car. If you say, I'm coming to pick you up, I may keep my car. Or I may not walk on the way I'm coming here, okay? But if you tell me that, please find your way here, I'll begin to think. Immediately that happens, I begin to think of, how am I coming? Do I have fuel? Can I come along with a friend? Should I book an Uber? I begin to think of options. But this system we have has made governments and states sleep. Give them a 2-year notice. In 2 years' time, there will be no national power grid to draw from. Go and solve your state problems of light. Simple. FCT, solve your own problem of light. We will give you no light in 2 years. And in 2 years, everybody wake up. You see contractors, you see investors, you see power companies arrive this country. We are.
Okay. Anyways, we hope that solution sounds really interesting. I just hope that it's workable.
See, if it's a private company that owns the light, all of this drama won't be there. Do you get? It's because it's government. Did you go to the bank to ask them how much they are paying for diesel? No. But the banks offers you a service and bills you in the generality of what you're doing. Do you go to Mr. Biggs and say, how much am I paying for AC? No. They bill you based on the donuts you buy. But they sort themselves out to make sure that they retain a standard. That's why it's a private organization. That's why business should be run by private organizations. This is the easy way out.
I totally agree with you. And now let's look at this story. So Tinubu ends purchase of petrol-powered vehicles by MDAs, CNG. And now, State President presides as fake meeting extends to second day. He swears in more MPC commissioners. Let's get your thoughts on this, having MDAs, government officials now using CNG vehicles and not petrol-powered vehicles.
Yeah,
I think it's a good development.
Yeah, I support him a bit on that, though I think I understand what he's doing politically.
Oh.
He's trying to make them not buy cars.
Make them not buy cars?
Yes.
Do you think it's going to be a big deal to use a CNG car, or you think they wouldn't be able to use CNG vehicles?
Where would you see a CNG car tomorrow if you have the money now? So what he's saying is, I won't allow you buy a petrol-driven car and bill expenses of 100 cars for 36,000 daily to buy fuel. So let's say you have 100 cars in this MDA.
Okay.
And every day they bring a voucher of 36,000 that they spend on fuel that day. Multiply that by the number of cars. And that's just for one day. And that's just running expense. Nothing fantastic. And then you want to buy more cars. So in the bid to stop you from buying more cars to increase that expense, the president says go and buy a CNG car, which you do not know where to buy a CNG car. So buying the car now will be illegal. So you sit down and use the other cars meanwhile. So I think it's a political statement. And then to now make those who want to invest in CNG to feel like coming. Okay, to feel like putting their investments in that direction.
These statements that you just made, that is political, because you said, where would they get CNG cars?
Yes.
You remember that oil marketers promised to provide CNG buses to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy months ago. It was supposed to arrive in less than 6 months or in 6 months, but we've still not seen it. So do you think that those are just audio promises that would never come to pass?
You see, they may not be audio promises, but if you don't follow them in the right way, you're talking about an investment. You're talking about a new way of doing things. You see, it's hard to introduce a new way of doing things by the same old crop of people. It hardly happens. It's like saying VCD and DVD. It's usually not the same companies that bring them. It's like saying Facebook and Twitter. It's usually not the same companies. A disruption is usually brought by a new company that forces all old companies to begin to work in that line. So what we want to see is new companies offering these CNG products, which will now force the old companies to go in that line. Elon Musk brought in hybrid. We didn't see Ford be the first to bring it in. We didn't see Toyota be the first to bring it in. It has to be brought in by a disruption. So the president needs to look in that direction. Do we have these gases that are being flared? Yes, back when we were growing up, those gases were flared daily. Those were the CNG gases wasting for years. Now, do we have our refineries up and running to give us the CNGs? No, it's not yet there. So see, I'm saying this from a political angle and a realistic angle.
Of course.
We don't have the gas flared now except Dangote. So you have to somehow keep this dance going.
Our other refineries are promised to us to start.
So till those refineries start and you know that the CNG gases are now available and being flared, then you can now see a practical solution. If I was an investor, I won't jump in till I see gas flarings. See, an investor is careful about his money. There's $17 trillion sitting on zero profit and zero interest. Why? Rich men don't like risk. They measure their risk. So if I was the person, I'll wait until I see gas available. Then I can now bring a company, I can now bring a car company, conversion machines, all of those things will come into play when the gas is there. If the gas is not there, what are we going to do if we bring everything here?
All right, so let's talk about FG's plans on new wage system based on workers' productivity, because we're facing federal government now. So let's talk about that. They said FG plans new wage system based on workers' productivity. Employees on same level may earn different salary. Do you think this would change workers' attitude towards work? Do you think they will now begin to see government work as proper work? Because we talk about a lot of times when people in government offices just actually act like, I don't care. It'll be my papa work. That's the usual language on the streets. They'll say, now your papa work. And then they just feel like, let's just do it anyhow. Some persons don't even come to the office. I think there was a particular time somebody said they once went to an office and found some persons breaking egusi.
Of course.
Like, that's the best that they could do. Nothing serious, nothing to do. But now, the federal government now plans that there will be a wage system that will be based on your productivity for the entire month. What do you make of that?
It's fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yes, it will have its problems, but it's fantastic.
But who's going to monitor?
That's what I'm saying. That now calls for paperless administration. That will now reduce corruption and bribery. Somebody has your file on his desk. Your file is going to get to 16 offices. And then this person sits down on your file waiting for Egunje, give me 200,000 or this file doesn't move. And you can't report him anywhere. He'll tell you he's busy, he's doing that. So your file is on one spot for long. And then finally you give him money, then your file moves to table 2 and you have 16 tables. But if there is a system, online system, administrative system, software, that has timed this man's office and knows when this file got to his office, and the clock is ticking, not only for him, for his appraisal and his bosses. And they've given him a 24-hour turnaround time for this file. And once it's not done, it gives him a notification in his mail. This file has been on your table for 24 hours. Give a response why this file has not moved. That will make files move. That will make businesses work. That will make organizations function. Right now, we're in a mess. This is the way to go. I worked in the bank. That's what they called pay for performance. You pay for performance. Not every staff in the bank earns the same money. There's PPP, pay for performance. So if you work, and you see, humans need this incentive to perform. If I can sleep in my house for 6 days in a year, in a month, sleep in my house for 6 days, sorry, go to work for only 6 days, okay? In a month, I escape, I dodge, I go to work for just 6 days in a month, and I get my salary. What is the incentive to go to work for 7 days? I would even think of, can I try 5 days? Will I still get my pay? You see, so these are the things we have to say. Abroad, people take 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Why? Because they know that you must be accountable for the hours in which they have said you work. You must work those hours. There's no story that will cover you. So a person goes abroad, he knows this job cannot pay for him, so he does this job and takes a night job. But here in Nigeria, we want to work, do business within the same time frame. You see somebody in an office selling granules.
You know, I'm just surprised because in as much as it sounds fantastic, like you said, I'm wondering if this is even sustainable or even achievable.
It is very achievable. It's very sustainable.
Government.
Yes,
workers.
if we start it, it will work. It won't work overnight, okay? But it's a policy in the right direction. This is how corporate organizations run. It's a good start.
All right, let's believe it's a good start. As we head to political stories, let's start with River State. It says Fubara set to probe Wike's administration. There's just something about Fubara and Wike that does not seem like it's going to ever come to an end. And even though he has sworn in a new Attorney General with just 3 lawmakers, what's your take on that? What's your take on everything happening in River State between Fubara and Wike?
I'm a Wike person, so as this is,
Oh.
I understand that I'll have a bias.
Okay.
So I am privy to like 80% of the back end information that is not in any newspaper. So for that, I will blame Fubara. But as a general public knowledge, I will blame Wike. Do you understand?
Okay.
For what for the information I'm privy to.
Okay, tell us what you're privy to.
I will blame Fubara.
Why are you blaming Fubara?
You want to put me on the spot on this one? Okay, so
we need to know, since you're a Wike person, let's get your thoughts on what's going on.
It's a will I call it a betrayal of a system that produced a candidate. But you see, in democracy, that's the front end. There's nothing called the betrayal of a system that produced a candidate.
Okay.
Okay. So this is still a power tussle, depending on how you want it to go. The reason why the president is very careful, very, very careful on how this plays out, is because Nigeria is making very little revenue from oil. And if a full-blown crisis hits River State, our revenue will dip. Once our revenue dips, we're in trouble. So those are the issues the president has to be careful about. If he supports Fubara, he has a Wike issue. If he supports Wike, he has a Fubara issue. The truth has been broken. Many legal things have been broken. Like you said, 3 people, 3 lawmakers making decisions instead of 27. And all of that mess back and forth has left us with a big legal issue that anybody can take in. And Fubara is not knowing that he's playing to a script that can call for a state of emergency. I am telling you, Rivers can be 10 days away from a state of emergency and an administrator will be brought in.
Okay, so
It has been done before in Bayelsa. It has been done in many other states. We have histories in Nigeria where a governor was impeached. We have all of those histories. He shouldn't. They are playing it close. And my problem is that once this continues, it will begin to affect the oil production. Once the oil production goes down, the FAC goes down, the crude we have, fuel queues will be in a mess. And this is what the president is trying to avoid by trying to stage manage 2 of them. Okay? So I wish him the best.
There's been conversations that Wike has been witch hunting Fubara and not letting him, exercise his own power as the executive governor of River State. What's your own take on that? Since you said you're a Wike insider, a Wike person, so let's understand why people think he's been witch hunting him.
Okay, let me try to explain the Wike's ideology of politics. Wike is looking at a Lagos type of politics. The fact that if you play politics well and long enough, you'll be able to, not every government coming to change what it's doing. It's following a continuum plan and a set of deliverables. Arguably, Lagos is about the best developed state in Nigeria in terms of economy, in terms of finance, in terms of continuity. That if you continue in this path, you can build developments that can run for 20 plus years. Okay? Now, you will need to have a system that runs at the back end of the democracy. There must be a back end system that runs the front end of the democracy that ensures that this continues to work and continues to happen in this way. Now, you will need some continuum for that. And so, and then it has also helped Tinubu to pay off as the first Southwest president. Awolowo tried, MKO tried, till they were able to get a sustained system before they were able to produce a president. So he's saying, South, we will not be able to get this if we don't do this.
Okay. But then, if you think, if that's his own ideology now, yes. But it wasn't like that when he was also, in the case of Amechi and him, you know the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If a continuum...
Why is he now trying to put it on Fubara?
If they say the time you wake up is your morning. If a continuum does not come up, we may, it's very hard to win power. The only time we've had a smooth succession to the South in Nigerian politics since 1999 was because power was taken from MKO and then given to the South in 1999, and because Yaradua died and Goodluck took over. There's not been any election that produced the Southern candidate apart from Tinubu. So these are the indices that he is looking at. He is modeling from the Southwest and trying to replicate in the South-South. And I can assure you there are other South-South principals that have this idea also. So the expected seem to just play along, work, do his bid, do his projects, invite them for commissionings. It was just a celebratory role. Invite us for... There was nothing really blocking him till a lot of drama that I cannot still say on air.
Even though we wanted to get to know those dramas so we can truly understand what's really going on. Because we see no reason why a sitting governor cannot exercise his right as a sitting governor. And some of his lawmakers had already ported to another political party. So it's now looking like you're already somewhere else and you still want to claim ownership here. And then there are conversations from the opposition party that he should be impeached.
Yeah, if the House of Assembly was bombed, you're taking a stroll to the House of the quarters that you want to go and check the... See, this porting has a condition.
Okay.
The law says that the only condition in which a person can change his political party is if there is crisis. Most people don't forget that.
Evidence of crisis within your party?
Yes. Is there no evidence of crisis?
Oh.
What are we discussing?
Okay, so this is really getting interesting.
They said if there is serious evidence of crisis, this is evidence of crisis at the state level and some part at the national. So this is a matter that should be decided by a judge, not by... Will the judge believe that there is enough evidence to show serious division and crisis? That's a matter for a court, not for me and you.
Okay, but why won't the Abuja landlord face Abuja and discuss Abuja matters alone? Let's quickly take this call.
Please take this call.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome
morning.
to the press. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, I'm calling from Akwa. My name is David, I'm calling from Akwa.
All right, please join the conversation.
Please speak faster.
We can hear you if you can hear us. Are you there? Okay, I think we lost him. Like I asked earlier,
Yes.
why won't Abuja landlord face Abuja and leave Rivers for Rivers?
I said it without you hearing. That's what I
because
said
I want
earlier.
you to tell us
Because
what you are not
there-
telling us.
yes, because
that you
there
have
has to
refused
be
tell us.
there has to be a continuum. For there to be a continuum, there has to be a back end structure sustained. It's the same thing still playing out in Lagos. It's the same thing. There must be a back end structure sustained. Part of what you must understand is that your father's enemies must be your enemies.
Okay, so
Now, that's politics. I'm just saying your father's enemies must be your enemies. So the fact that Sim is in the Garden of Eden and he was given all the trees to eat from and was given only one tree not to eat from, and that's the tree Sim went to eat from. So this is a Garden of Eden issue.
So you're saying Sim is another Adam, and
Very good.
Wike
I'm
is-
trying to paint the picture now for you so you understand.
This your
Of
biblical
all the
allusion
trees
is
you
strong.
can eat, but of these three you should not eat.
Why should I be the executive governor of a state and you get to call the shots for me? That's
Because
the
you are not,
question.
you are a beneficiary of a continuum. Somebody said yesterday, one of the ex-lawmakers, that if not because
if you
the
didn't
system,
take that-
if not because the system brought a SIM, he will have been a level 14 civil service officer.
But the question is, if you didn't take that, why should I take it? Because anyway, there are statements from Wike himself that we made a mistake, don't worry, we can still correct it.
It's not easy to
Fubara
correct.
is coming back to say, to give his own qualification to show that he is qualified for the position, and whichever way, when they get to the bridge
Has
again,
has he won a ward councillor election in his life before?
Is that your?
No, that's what I'm saying. Has he won? Wike was a local government chairman, became a what did he become? A chief of staff, became a minister of the Federal Republic, became a governor. We have seen precedences. Has he ever won a ward councillor election?
Okay,
You are a beneficiary of a system.
I rest my case on that.
Okay, let's rest our case on that.
As we move on to another interesting headline, it says 2027. In fact, it's carefully captioned.
Yes.
2027, Atiku Obi meets over mega party. Aide blames Wike for ex-governor's exit from PDP.
Yes.
So let's talk about, do you see this mega party as a possibility? And if at all this is possible, between Atiku and Obi, who do you think is going to be taking the lead and who's going to be seconded? I'm curious.
Okay, so back-end politics tells me that even this merger is tied to the other issue we discussed. Okay, let me bring it out now in the open. The whole issues you are seeing playing out
Yeah.
is an attempt for Atiku, a perennial contester, to forever be the only major candidate to contest until he wins. That is one end of the spectrum. Now, Wike and a very few others are saying you cannot forever be the only candidate contesting on our platform. So that's, which is the back end to all of these Sim Fubara deals I was saying, and all the parables I was telling you. This is the back end. So now, this is what they should have done in 2022/2023.
Okay.
They should have made this merger. They should have put their acts together, because a divided opposition cannot beat an incumbent government. So now they're doing the right thing. The problem is, will a vice president, a man who was once vice president, retain vice president for an Obi? If Obi takes vice president, will they not accept Atiku again with an Obi vice president? If Obi is the candidate, Atiku will never be his vice president. That cannot happen. But Atiku will choose his vice president.
Will Nigerians, obedience, also accept?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming there.
Obi to
So will obedience now, after calling him a clean slate, will they now accept that as a clean slate? If an El-Rufai comes on board as the choice of the North to tag with Obi, I've seen David Hundeyin said he would rather vote Tinubu if he sees an Obi and El-Rufai ticket. So these are the challenges they will have. These are power-hungry people. Kwankwaso will not step down for anybody.
All right.
I don't see Obi stepping down for anybody. I don't see Atiku stepping down for anybody.
I want to quickly take a few comments from social media so that you can also tell us more. There's this comment that says, Peter Obi is doing Nigeria a favor by seeking to be its president, the only corrupt, free, past governor. That's what some persons believe. And some person says, Peter Obi visits Abi, Atiku invite him. This blog, they crazy. And you have other opinion that says, wherever Reno Omokri is right now, go down nearly faint seeing Obi with his boss. And another person is saying, is this a best loser competition going on? And another one is saying, PDP LP merger loading, but I doubt this is workable. Nigeria no get solution. If you like, they give yourself headache. What's your take?
It's a tough one. This is what they should have done 2019.
Citizens seem to have lost hope.
Yeah, this is what they should have done 2019. Long before now. 2023, they didn't do this. So it's tough to now do it now. But it's still workable. Will Atiku agree to become the BOT chairman of maybe PDP? And why they are struggling, why they prefer to be on PDP, it looks like Wike has a hold on PDP while in APC, while serving in the APC government. So they are weighing their options. If this guy has a strong hold on PDP now, it means he's not going to give us tickets. So let's make another plan. But they will prefer to bring everybody back to the PDP and run. So but there's a lot of egos, a lot of people who want to be the candidates. These are the issues that are on ground. If they go to a new party, they have to make the move early. They can't make it like Labour Party that did it months to the election. You want to make this work, it has to be at least 18 months clear of the election so that whoever is coming in comes in. But also I must remind you that Tinubu is the hardest person to beat. And beating him while he's president, you need to write a movie on that.
Why is he the hardest person to beat?
Because 1992, he went for senator once, he got it. He went to rest for years. 1999, he went for governor once, he got it. He did his 8 terms. He never contested presidency. The only one time he contested presidency, he got it. This shows you somebody who is calculated. Obi is now going around the north. Tinubu has been going around the north for 40 years. Because it's just now Obi discovered that he will need these northern votes. This is someone who has calculated for 40 years that he will need these northern votes. And you can't make friends overnight. Well, you can make friends for 40 years. So how do you betray your friends for 40 years over a friend you made last night?
They say in politics anything is expected.
You can't change. You see, the north is a very skeptical and loyal ground. They don't make friends overnight. They can play with you, but they'll find. Do they know you overnight? This is the issue. So he has 4 years and he's trying. Some of them are already warming up to him. So that's why he started this early, so that he can really work his way into it. Because back in 2023, last year, he couldn't have gotten 10% of the north, no matter who tells you any story in the north. In short, the candidates couldn't even come out. You couldn't even see Labour Party posters. So this is the north, and this is politics, and you have to learn to play it. Okay,
so what is this story around Wike being the one responsible for Obi's exit from the PDP?
So let's go to that. 2019 was zoned to the north. It was not zoned to any part of the north. Yes. PDP has never zoned to any part of the north or south. They only zone to the north or to the south. So in 2019, they zoned to the north. No single southerner contested 2019 elections. Fayose wanted to buy a ticket and he was denied. No single southern candidate contested. 12 northern candidates contested. David Mark, Kwankwaso, Tambuwal, Atiku, all of them contested that election. And whoever won was supported by everybody, even the South, even Wike, even everybody, because it was zoned in one direction. The outcome of that election, whoever won Atiku, everybody supported him. That was their best bet. Okay? But in 2023, they now couldn't zone to the south.
Okay.
And Atiku made a statement after buying the ticket. Please notice what I'm saying. Atiku made the statement after already buying his ticket. He now said, well, if they zone to the southeast, he will step down. You are saying an impossibility. It has never been zoned to a sub-region. Okay? So he's saying that is to pander to the masses who don't know politics deeply. How can you say an impossible statement and say that is your reason upon which you would do this? So it was just a taunt for the... He knew that it cannot be zoned to southeast.
So I'm looking at the merger as to why it is Wike that is being held for Obi's exit.
Because Wike is the only southerner that is awake.
So are you saying that sounds like a threat and that was why he left?
No, it's not a threat. I said Wike is the only southerner that is awake to national politics right now. Obi is waking up to national politics.
What I'm saying is,
yes.
Does it mean that Obi left because he felt like Wike would have taken his chances away?
No, Obi couldn't have won PDP primaries. He knew that. He tried it. He saw that he didn't even have the north. He didn't even have the south. And this is a primaries. A primaries is not your mate. It's a political game. You're going to spend. You're going to parley. They're not going to hear your grammar. These are not obedience. So he saw that he wouldn't make it in. And there was a new law at that time, which holds, that said once you contest, you cannot contest on another platform. So he had to make a very fast move, which was a wise move, to move to jump ship.
All right. Thank you very much for your time today. It's a very good place to anchor the program. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it for your time today. Engineer Toba, Owojaiye, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, that's the cuttings on today's show. We really hope you enjoyed yourself on the show today. I'll see you again at 1 p.m. I am Olamide Hassan. Bye for now.